So we've had four interesting panels all day today. We started the industry panel, which was moderated by Professor Madhusudan Rao, and had representatives from Infosys, Jubilant, Forbes Marshall, and Titan Industries. So we had different industries articulate the problems that they face, and we had very fruitful discussions during the deliberations there. That was followed by a panel from the academic community. We had Dr. Jairam, who's the Chancellor of what's popularly in Bangalore known as the MS Ramaya Group, but formally they are known as the Gokula Education Foundation, and the Vice Chancellor of that university as well, along with Dr. Ratinam from the SRM Group of Industries and Professor Kantesh Belani from IIT Kanpur. That session was moderated by Professor Balram. We all know Professor Balram. And they came up with a lot of suggestions as to, in terms of how the IITs can be of help to these educational institutions. And I think there were lots of good pointed suggestions that came up. We then had the government panel. We had one disappointment because we were hoping Anjum Parvez, who had signed up to come this morning for the session, would have showed up, but this morning turns out that he had some other exigency. We had a very selfish reason to invite him. You know, the metro is down the road here, and we just want him to inaugurate it as fast as possible so we don't have to drive through the city. Just catch the metro and walk the last 300 odd meters. But nevertheless, we had two very young, enthusiastic officers who were involved with technology in government. And I think they were probably the most focused of all the groups. Very, very pointed and very focused, and very ably moderated by VP Baligar. Who has seen all sides of the table right now, and that was that. And last we had a VC/private equity panel with the person from Axelor, Samir from ex-Inventors, I forget the current name, and Subrata from Axel Partners, and moderated by Siddharth Das, IIT ACB member, but also Venture East. So I'm sure that there have been at least 25 good suggestions that would have come up during the day. The question is, there are some things we can do as IITs and some that we cannot do. So it's a good time to say what's possible and what's not, what we would like to do, and perhaps also articulate and say, can multiple IITs, if you kind of put your strengths together, can we do things that individually you may not be able to do? I want to introduce Chris Gopalakrishnan here, co-founder of Infosys. Currently, sir, is that chairman now of Axelor or? Chairman of Axelor. We requested him to come here because he is very sharp when it comes to listening to issues and then coming up with a very concrete action plan for us to take forward. At IIT ACB, this meeting for us is not just about meeting for 2 days and having fun. It's about taking home some action items that we want to work on and actually see things happening over the next few months, few quarters. Some could be even longer term projects. We requested Chris to come and help us sharpen our focus for the future. So he will kind of anchor this along, from the industry side, if you will, and Professor Shantanu Chowdhury will do it from the IIT side. But ideally, sir, at the end of this, if he can come up with 5 or 6 powerful action items for us to collectively work on and make this a success, I think that would be 2 days well spent at IIT ACB. So over to you guys.
So, thank you. Let me compliment Professor Ashok Mishra, his team. This is my first visit. I've seen pictures, but this is my first visit to the center. And it's very good to visit this place, see the from concept to now reality, right? Very good to see. And then see all of you here thinking about how we can leverage this, how we can collaborate better, how this can become the nerve center of such collaborations. It's wonderful to see. It also has a space for incubation. I think that's also very nice, and especially those IITs that are not in metropolitan areas probably can take advantage of this space. Bangalore being the startup capital of the country, both from a incubation perspective, from a funding perspective, all the IITs can leverage this. But first, let me request all the directors present here to give their, let me say, their action items or their asks in the last 2 days of deliberations, and then I'll come back and close it out. So,
Namaste to all. And, see, being the IIT of the state for which Bangalore is the capital, that is Karnataka. Yeah, we have a major role, definitely, and although physically IIT Tirupati and IIT Chennai are closer to Bangalore than us, okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, definitely, as Chris sir pointed out, so there are enough room for collaboration among the IITs. And we in IIT Dharwad, will be focusing on 2 or maybe 3 broad areas. One is related to the that is the optimum utilization of resources. So in general, and water and energy, maybe one, and that is the reason. In fact, yesterday 3 of the 6 IIT directors, myself, Professor Satyanarayana from IIT Tirupati, and Professor Rajiv Prakash from IIT Bhilai, we fixed, and so we want to see that our for future buildings and other facilities, how we can make it net zero in water and energy, and if not net zero, at least maybe it could be 80%, 85%, whatever is feasible from our end. And already we have a success story right next to IIT Dharwad, and so we are all 5 and in fact we also, IIT Goa also have requested Professor B.K. Mishra from IIT Goa also to join us. So we are meeting next month as well. That is one thing. Basically, see, thing is many times that is whatever morning, many of this one. So we are under the impression that industries have a problem and IITs are expected to provide the solutions. It is the other way also. IITs also do have problems, and many times the industry may be able to provide us that is the vital guidance. That is one. So regarding, and then secondly, in this, that is the 5G and even RISC-V, and in fact, last month our outreach team, including having Professor Founder Director of IIIT Bangalore, Professor Sadgopan, who is our Senior Outreach Advisor, and myself and our Dean Research Development and Outreach, Professor Rajesh M. Hegde, who has recently joined from IIT Kanpur, as well as one of our Associate Deans R&D, Professor Amar Gaonkar, we were here. We met many of these from the industries such as BEL, that is, and we also met that is this Canara Bank, Karnataka Bank. We also met few of the IAS officers of Karnataka state government in this one. It was a well spent time, and we also met with one Sri Jayant Nadgir. Actually, he is this one into this Flanders, that is Belgium this one, and we are into that. So these are some of the this one which I wanted to bring it to this one. So basically, the thing is, so it is by properly coordinating with our fellow IITs in general and the 3G IITs in particular, definitely we can show this one. Because see, the thing is, just I have, so I won't take more than a minute. See, Arun Shauri ji was a Rajya Sabha member for 2 terms. That means 6 into 2, 12 years. He donated his entire MP lad scheme, that is 2 crores per year. That is 12 into 2, 24 crores to IIT Kanpur. And of course, IIT Kanpur has definitely done that. But if had it been done in a particular building, then it would have been more appreciated by not only by IIT Kanpur, the whole world actually. So I think maybe, I do not know, they may be in the process, I may not have, so please correct me any of you, one. So therefore that kind of a thing we see right this one, that is next to IIT Dharwad's transit campus in Tata Motors. So you want to emulate, and then so that it will be a one success story which is this one, like there is a say in Bhagavad Gita, one shloka is there, Yadyada charati shreshta statta devetaro janam. That means one sa yat pramanam kurute lokaha tad anuvartate. So that means those who are excellent, those who have shown, demonstrated this one, so that is definitely emulatable, and definitely IIT Dharwad is going to play a very lead role. So with this, I'd like to end my submission. Dhanyavad.
Good evening, friends. I want to focus on 3 important points, which I think the whole thing is about collaborations that we talked about. And just about 15 minutes back, also Chris was mentioning when we were all sitting with him, that it is time that all IITs come together and start doing things. While we were all straight-jacketed doing a lot of things, each of us excelling in our own way, each of us trying to collaborate with industries in our own way. How do we try to be more relevant to the whole country together rather than alone? In fact, last year there was an R&D fair. All the 23 IITs came together and displayed their technologies which they have individually done. Okay, and this was a big fair in October last year. This year it is going to be held at IIT Hyderabad in somewhere in December or January. The date has to be still fixed. But this time we have included NITs also ICERs, and also up to top 50 institutions. But again, in all these, individually institutions are displaying, showcasing their excellence. But what is more important is to coming together. Something that, a small experiment that we have done in Hyderabad in the last 1 year is something we call it as a glue grant. Okay, this is a proposal right now with Ministry of Education, and we are expecting that very soon that will be sanctioned, where almost 25-30 institutions in Hyderabad are coming together to work on the grand challenges of the country. Okay, the TIFAC has identified 12 grand challenges, starting from clean air to 24/7 electricity, and so on and so forth, which are really true challenges for the country. And then how do we work together? Various institutions. There are DRDO institutions, there are ICMR institutions, there are CSIR institutions, variety of them in Hyderabad. So that is one, and we have identified people to come together from each institution. We have identified coordinators, put up everything together. Proposal has been submitted to see that in 5 years, together we provide solutions to some of these problems. And the same thing can be done. I mean, that was much easier because proximity was there. Hyderabad, everything is in Hyderabad. I was able to coordinate as a coordinator from IIT Hyderabad. But we can think of such things together because there are strengths available in individual institutions, and it is time that we start working together on grand challenges of the country, and that will bring greater visibility to the whole collective IIT system. And also useful for the country. This is one aspect that I wanted to say. Second thing is on the education. Okay, this is first thing that I am talking about is the research and solving India's problems. The second is, as we just saw, that there are a number of what I would call it as second tier, third tier institutions in the country which are struggling to provide quality education. Again, if there is a possibility that institutions come together and start programs together, joint masters programs for the need of the industries, identify what kind of programs are useful for the industry, let's say, and see where are the strengths between the institutions. For example, we started interesting programs with some healthcare industry at Hyderabad. For example, with LV Prasad, we have an MTech called MTech in Ophthalmic Engineering, where LV Prasad doctors teach the anatomy of the eye. We teach optics and lasers. At the end of 2 years, the student is an expert on laser technology for eye care. Okay, we were able to do this kind of things, but together as IITs, maybe we may be able to come up with better programs which are useful for various industries and also useful for the students of these institutions to come forward. We have started very recently something called OAT, Open to All Teaching. Now that every classroom we have converted into a digital and hybrid classroom, so that I will have physically a few students, virtually a number of them, that I teach all of them from any corner of the world and to anybody, whoever wants to learn. So this also can be together done by institutions. This is the second point. The third, which I want particularly the ACB to focus a little more, which we have again started recently. We made a course which we call it as industry lectures, as a mandatory course for all our MTech students. It's a 1 credit course. Every MTech program, we have 40 different MTech programs, identifies 14 industries. 1 credit course is 14 hours of lectures. 14 different industries, bring them, ask them to talk for 1 hour, what is exciting in their company. And then at the end, ask them, do you have any problems with our master students can solve in one year? Okay? So we collect a problem directory from them, give it to the students. If that kind of a problem directory ACB can start working on, which they provide it to all the institutions. And in principle, the industry can select who is the top brass from various IITs who can solve this problem. So it can be even a constructive, I would say, a competition between each of the IITs and identify the right kind of people to solve the right kind of problems. And that is another way where we can collaborate with industry and move forward. These are the 3 points I thought collectively we can do and make a great impact on the society at large.
Thank you. Good evening. I thought I'll use this opportunity to also talk about IIT Tirupati because it's a new IIT, and then talk about how we would like to work with ACB. You know, we are a part of the 3rd generation IIT, just like Dharwad and Goa and Jammu and Bhilai, which is Palakkad. You know, we had the opportunity when we were setting up this institute to take a lot of lessons learned from how the 1st generation and 2nd generation IITs were set up and do our campuses. In fact, IIT Tirupati, we have completely built our campus now, completely moved into the permanent campus, probably the fastest IIT to get in to the campus in full-fledged way. So what we have done is the areas that we have started looking at from an interdisciplinary perspective, from a national need perspective, in what we call our thrust areas, is one area is materials and manufacturing. And we are working very closely with a lot of industries. Towards this, we are starting to set up centers of excellence. Now we have the IIT Tirupati, Siemens, Wipro Center of Excellence for Smart Factories, where we are setting up a number of labs to create digital twins for the industry to use and also researchers to use these facilities. 7 different labs. The other area we've identified is food technology and precision agriculture. Again, from a national perspective, we felt this is a very important area, which right now only IIT Kharagpur has a focus department. Otherwise, a lot of the IITs are working in these areas, but they don't have a separate department or centers for this. The third area we've identified is smart infrastructure, whether it is infrastructure from all physical infrastructure, whether it's transport, water, wastewater, communication, power, and so on. And then energy storage. Battery, we happen to be in the city which has the 2nd largest battery manufacturer in the country, Amar Raja. So we have a lot of ecosystem there which we would like to leverage. And then hydrogen storage, we have colleagues who who specialize in this area. The next area we've identified is atomic, molecular, and optical and quantum sciences and technologies. Again, Tirupati is the only city in the country which has an IIT and an ISER. Their campus is just 3 kilometers away from our campus. So we're doing a lot of things together, and we found that we have a critical mass of faculty members specializing in this area. So we've identified this as a thrust area. The other area that has emerged, we have this, under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems, the DST has set up 25 technology innovation hubs. Almost every IIT here has a technology innovation hub. And the innovation hub, where they're funding to the tune of about 100 crores, where they have 4 areas, verticals, on which they are asking each of these hubs to focus on. One is technology development, next one is manpower development. Third is the creating a startup ecosystem in that particular domain, and international collaboration. So the technology innovation hub at IIT Tirupati is on positioning and precision technologies. This is geospatial technologies in the area of geospatial positioning, remote sensing, and now we have the geospatial policy that has been come out, which is opening up a lot of business opportunities on data availability and how do you use data for logistics, for disaster management, agriculture, and all that. So now we are in discussion with Survey of India to create again a major startup ecosystem in Hyderabad. They have a big facility there that Survey India is just struggling. So these are some of the areas that we are focusing on. Now coming to our, on the ACB, IIT ACB, one area that definitely I think, in terms of matchmaking, that's what they said, they're creating the platform where they're collecting data on all the IITs, who are the faculty members working on, what are the projects they're working, each of the IITs is working on. For example, today morning from Forbes Marshall, Mr. Kulkarni had put up a problem statement saying, this is my biggest pain point today, if you can address on their effluent treatment problem that they have. Probably if these problem statements, IIT ACB becomes a clearinghouse where these problem statements are sought from the industry, and then we do the matchmaking and say, here are the 3, 4, 5 IITs that work in this area. Why did you reach out to them? Or set up a call between all these institutions and see how we could do it together. The other area that we discussed downstairs is in running a number of upskilling programs in terms of short courses and so on, where for the industry, for the government, and for the other academic institutions. These were the various panels that we talked about, and everyone was looking at support in this direction. So if we can identify the areas for the short courses, pull the faculty members where we have the people with expertise in whichever IIT, bring them together. It could be a 3-day program, a 1-week program, or a 2-week program. This is another opportunity that we have. And the other point I was making downstairs was the support to the 3rd generation IITs, where we are trying to create the ecosystem for entrepreneurship, for startups, and so on. So little hand-holding in the initial years will we build up our ecosystem. So these are some of the things that we thought that we could leverage. I'm really thankful to Professor Ashok Mishra and the team here for bringing this facility and creating this ecosystem. And I've been looking forward. Wherever I go, I keep telling IIT Tirupati that we are close to these ecosystems. And we will be leveraging them and so on. So this is a perfect platform from that perspective. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think let me just look into the philosophy with which this center came up, and I think it's fundamentally a platform for collaboration. It has a physical space, physical existence, but also it has got an existence which is on the web as a platform for putting all the information together. And in fact, therefore, I think if we try to define an agenda of what it would be, that IIT Alumni Center Bangalore for future, I think both these aspects have to be looked into and to be taken into account. If we look at the more a kind of a virtual web-based scenario, the key point which came up through discussions today was the first session, which was with the industry, and industry members of IIT CAB came up with various issues and questions which are linked with collaboration with IIT on industrial projects. I think in all of these, IIT CAB can play a role to resolve some of these open questions and how to incentivize these kind of collaborations between faculty and IIT. In fact, one of the points which was raised was IP. And in fact, we discussed also offline that there should be some discussion session, either physically or online, that how the IPs from the perspective of the corporates and the perspective of IIT should have a convergence point. And this is actually a bottleneck of many of the things in terms of projects, in terms of internships, and in terms of even faculty spending time in the industry for technology development. So all of these can be streamlined if some of these issues can really be resolved. The second point related to this is obviously collection of problems and putting across the problems. In fact, Satyak identified that effluent treatment has been put across as a major problem, because what came up is that sustainability is a major industrial challenge today. And if IITs can join hands to address sustainability problem with reference to industry specific way, and when industries are specifying those problems on this platform, that would be a huge opportunity. And in fact, therefore, it is not just putting the problems, but also the center can have a curation scheme of structuring the problem, putting area-wise problem, grouping of the problem, not just the industry, and which also would give opportunity of IITs to join hands and create consortium to address specific problems, and which are the industry or beyond the industry can have implications. The other important point which has come up also is that these academic programs, in fact, capacity building program, industry had flagged that also. And with the same time, the fellowship program, the very successful IIT Bombay, that master's fellowship program which was supported, and whether more such programs can be created and those fellowships can be floated on this platform so that IITs can make use of those based on their interest and the MTech or master students' availability, and they can be applied for and taken forward too. So therefore, this platform at a virtual level can really be enable two things. One is closer interaction with industry and IIT, and particularly about IITs which are not located in the metros and not in the industrial ecosystem. And second thing is collaboration between IITs, because we don't even know in many cases what happens, although these mission projects are bringing us together. The next point, if you look at from the government panel, which came up also, is that across the state governments and central governments, there are a number of projects where IIT can actually play a role. Today, technology is coming in governance in a big way. In fact, the morning talk of Nandan also highlighted that how DPI is coming, and any government discussions you'll be part of, you'll find that this digital infrastructure, how it is to be used and explored, is being talked about greatly. And there IITs and IITs as a community can play a role in making governance more efficient. I think we are not getting into that space. But that's also very important, to leverage the government for more interest and government to realize that utility of IIT not just for producing manpower, for technology development and research. I think this came up very clearly from the government panel. And the panel which was on startups, which was on actually ventures, and there are ventures that obviously they put in money at different levels of maturity of industry, a maturity of the startups. And we had ventures at multiple levels, and looking at the startup ecosystem which is coming up here, I think it's very important to have this group of this. Bangalore is a heart of this venture capital of the country, and those startups have to be linked to that. And the other thing is, I think IIT CAB should also have an enabling ecosystem of mentors, because mentors who actually have gone through that experience, they can actually predict the market, they can know where the funding would come in. That would be a huge guidance for the whole startups would be located here. And I think this is important again for IITs like maybe Dharwad, Jodhpur, some of the other Mandi. I think these can actually create the startup ecosystem and a culture propagate to tier 2, tier 3 cities in a big way. And there IIT CEB can play a phenomenal and very significant role into it. I think if these things can be really done really well, so both at a physical space as well as a logical space can bring in value. The last point which was also highlighted in the discussion was executive education. I think the space which is being developed here can be used for executive education by IITs or consortium of IITs in specialized areas where we really do not have regular programs in institutes. I think these are my reactions of today's things.
Thank you. Lot of good points already come. I will probably not repeat those things, but build on those points actually. So let me first, come to IITs themselves and IIT ACB's role in creating a collaborative space, co-working space, a space where IITs in different parts of the country can leverage the position of IIT ACB in Bangalore, which is one of the best ecosystems for startups, best ecosystem for innovation. A lot of the R&D labs of multinationals are located here in Bangalore, and we should try and leverage IIT ACB in order to make that connect with the IITs. Sometime back, I had run a program at IIM Bangalore where we invited about 40, 50 R&D centers here in Bangalore to become members of some kind of a research ecosystem. They paid money to become members, and every month we would actually hold a workshop, a 1.5 hour, 90-minute workshop. First 30 minutes, one lab would present their work. Second 30 minutes, the second lab, and third 30 minutes was just for discussion. We ran it for almost 2 years. But I think IIT ACB could be a location where this can indeed be done. There are multiple benefits. I did it at IIM because I thought the students would be interested in meeting these R&D labs. But unfortunately or fortunately, not even a single student participated. And I also found that no professor also came for these sessions. Only industry people came and they discussed and they went. But I think we should revive and look at it. But basically, use this space for collaboration, use this place for collaboration with industry, and bringing together various ecosystem players, which we have done in the last 2 days also. But in one place, you can come and meet them. The calendar should be published, and that will actually benefit everybody. I believe it will also benefit the R&D labs because they want connect with academia. And just coming to one location, they can meet all the IITs actually. So I think it will be a good initiative to take on. This space will be ideal for that. There are 500 plus R&D labs in Bangalore. Everything that you can think of is actually designed here in Bangalore or in somewhere in India, but primarily in Bangalore. I think this is something that we should leverage. I had done it for 2 years, but then I felt that it was not being picked up by anybody, so I left it at that point. Of course, this place is a landing pad for all the IITs which are not in Bangalore. Now, if they want to leverage the ecosystem in Bangalore, you can use this facility. Already space is given to you. The venture community also is very straightforward, right? We can organize a calendar of pitch sessions where VCs can be invited to come. You can send in your startups. They can come and work here. So that's also very straightforward. So these two are very straightforward. Now I'll come to industry. And then I'll come to the last piece, which is government. For industry, all of you are talking about problems, etc. They are already working with individual IITs, actually. So my suggestion is to think even bigger and come up with mission mode programs with some industry and industry partners. You talk about sustainability. Come up with something very ambitious with industry or a group of a consortium of industries which multiple IITs can work together to solve. In some sense, that was the vision for the NMICPS program, National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber-Physical Systems, where 25 technology innovation hubs are set up across. Now, a similar program can be launched with industry, and we can talk to the major companies in the country, including ISRO, DRDO, etc., and come up with maybe a handful of or maybe 10 mission mode programs, right? Where we do the brainstorming, we do the detailed definition of the problem, we come up with the project plan, and then the work gets done at the different IITs. Coordination can be done by the ACB. So I'm quite sure that if you talk to the Tatas, the Infosys, maybe Reliance, etc., we can come up with 10 problems. Really, moonshot problems actually. And this will also make sure that ACB gets visibility. Because such a facility is not available anywhere else. So ACB gets visibility, and we can truly do moonshot, ambitious programs, and I'm quite sure that industry will come and fund it also. Some of those problems could be from diverse areas like healthcare, etc. The reason I say this is, the brain atlas is being created at IIT Madras. You would assume that they would do it in a medical college or a medical school. But it's done at IIT Madras because a lot of the work is engineering related. So it could only be done at IIT Madras or one of the IITs. So we can think of using this facility to come up with some really ambitious programs with industry. The reason I'm focusing on this is individual IITs are already working with industry, right? So what can we do where resources from multiple IITs and capabilities from multiple IITs are brought together with ACB, and ACB also is seen as facilitating something very big. So now I'll come to society and government, and here, so if you look at all the announcements from the government in recent past, starting with NMICPS, the quantum mission, the geospatial policy, somebody mentioned about that, all of these. See, in the geospatial, 15 departments across governments are coming together to define problem, collect data, and provide solutions, etc. But the expectation is really very big from the government. And the government feels that IITs are not stepping up. They're falling short. Honestly, I will tell you. NMICPS, the idea was, can we create a breakthrough technology product startup which the world will see as coming out of an IIT? When I met the minister his question was, why is ChatGPT not coming out of IIT? Where is IIT? Why is it not coming? I'm being very open. Okay, that is where the expectation is going now. The quantum mission, the expectation is that we will be on par with US. No technology transfer. The technology transfer has to be from India to the world. That's the expectation from the government. And if you see, IITs have done fantastic on the education side. You don't need to prove anybody anything. You have delivered, Just look at the impact of IITians around the world, right? And in research also, ICPS program is to create leadership in what are called interdisciplinary cyber-physical systems, in robotics and AI, machine learning, etc. But their expectation is that ChatGPT will come out from this program. They are not interested in some small startup coming out of this. Right? Something very big, something ambitious, something that they can talk about to the world. That's what is expected. Now, if we work together and shape this agenda, if we work together, each IIT taking one or two ambitious goals, I'm quite sure funding from government will come, more importantly, funding from industry will come, funding from the VC industry will also come. Funding from global investors will come, right? There is no reason this can't be done. No reason. Nandan talked about DPI, right? The UID program is going global. I don't know whether he talked about it or not. So, the modular open source IP identity program is the open source version of UID. As we speak, 10 countries are implementing around the world. 10 countries. From India to the world. It's going. On top of that, UPI will go. Right, imagine all the developing countries. So developed countries may not adopt it immediately. All the developing countries providing their ID from MOSIP. Right? This is what the government is expecting IITs to do. And I'm confident in saying IITs can do. Can do. And I've seen IIT Hyderabad, your transportation and autonomous, yes. Well, but I think you have to think big and come out with something out of that investment, right? It is very much important, not think small, but think big. So together, with industry, but also looking at the priorities for the country, maybe on the hydrogen side, can we, create something? Or maybe some other fuel technology. Now, somebody was mentioning today in another forum about the requirement by 2050 for airlines to become carbon neutral. Right? Now, what is the fuel, what is the technology that airlines will use? Now, this is something that IITs together can work because expertise may be split across IITs. Right? Can we come up with something? And then, why is Boeing or Airbus doing their R&D in India? Because talent is here. And that talent is also lower cost. I'm not going to use the word cheaper. It's lower cost because we are a lower cost economy. So, first of all, availability of quality talent because of the education system. Second is lower cost. And this is why they are all coming. I'm 100% sure that whatever technology Boeing or Airbus will use in 2050 is being developed in Bangalore or in India, or part of it is being developed here in India. There is no reason this cannot be done in IITs. Because it's all done by IIT students only, but in a multinational lab. I think we need to think about how we can facilitate this. I want ACB to become the anchor for this mission of IITs creating world-beating products and services. Again, I will talk about one program which is going on right now. Again, it gives me confidence that we can indeed achieve this. So, 2 years back, there was a proposal to map mouse brain at IIT Madras, because this is something I funded, to map the brain, map the brain, or understand the brain better. In a session, not like this, not this many people, smaller number of people, suddenly we decided, why don't we straight jump to human brain? Okay? And you know, India was the only place which could have done it. IIT Madras or one of the IITs could be the only place it can be done. This is, first of all, access to cadaver brains. People donate, you know, when their family members or some unknown person dies, they donate the brain. Rabies-infected people donate their brain. So we have access to brains, cadaver brains. They developed the technology to slice the human brain into, a adult brain can be sliced into 10,000 slices at 50 micron thickness. They had to develop the technology to do this. Their mechanical engineering department developed this, partly robotic. Because you cannot, spoil the tissue, destroy the tissue when you slice it. Then it has to be moved to a slide so that it can be imaged. Again, a robotic mechanism was created to image it, camera was created, digital image was created on the computer, and then all these 10,000 slices have to be put together to create a 3D image. It's big, though you're imaging the brain, it's an engineering problem now and a factory approach. They have done 36 brains already. They want to do 130 brains so that nobody can catch up. European brain initiatives have done just 3 brains. They have already done 36 brains in the last 2 years at probably minuscule cost. The total money spent probably is about 100 crores. European Brain Initiative is $1 billion initiative. So we can do things here. So they will create a human brain atlas at a resolution that is 10 times better than what is available today. 10 times better. And the entire world will use this brain atlas. Entire world. To train surgeons, to train medical students, everything will be using this human brain atlas. This is what is possible. We just need to think big. We need to be ambitious. It's a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary area of work, and there are hundreds and thousands of such problems that can be solved. I want ACB to anchor this, kick off programs like this, working with industry, working with government, ISRO, DRDO, etc. And IITs working on such mission mode programs. All of you, I think here, all of you have, Dharwad probably doesn't have, an ICPS hub. Now, if you look at again, they're thinking small, and they're not thinking deep tech. I think you need to really leverage this. After the first 300 crores was given by the government refused to release funds because only 150 of that was spent. But I said, there are 5 hubs which have spent all their money should be released. Total funding for this 3,600 crores. Each hub getting minimum 100 crores. Now, working together, we can actually protect this and leverage this to show government we can do amazing things in India. Okay, Now this is rated by the PMO as one of the best projects in DST. Because I went and made a presentation at the PMO. Then we created a demonstration at IIT Delhi. The next demonstration is in IIT Kanpur on October 5th and 6th. So all the 25 hubs will be invited to present their work in IIT Kanpur, and we will invite people from government to come and look at it, various departments of the governments to come and look at it, to give them the confidence that IITs can develop technology that can be commercialized. Because that's what is needed, because that's what will create jobs, that will create wealth and things like that. Government is really looking forward to this. So this, if we take as an agenda point and come up with some mission mode programs, I'm quite sure that ACB will establish itself more than anything else. That's it. Thank you.
Any comments from the audience?
Hello. Yeah, my name is S.S. Murthy. I served in IIT Delhi for 42 years, and I'm presently also in the Board of Governors of IIT Harvard. Now, for all these ambitious projects, activities to succeed, one thing is, minimum condition is IIT system must be robust, and it must be world class. And I have listed a few threats which we have to account for. Okay? And number one is suicides before IIT and after IIT. And this has become a serious issue. And of course, Ram Gopal Rai, the recent column in Times of India writes, it is because of scarcity. And about 10 lakh students take the JEE, and there are only 40,000 seats in IITs. There is only 4%, so we are disappointing 96% of the people. And I would say out of the 10 lakh, at least top 10% are equally good. And therefore, I think there must be a mechanism in which we should accommodate more number of bright people to IITs and maybe if necessary to sister institutions like NITs, etc. So I am proposing that we should slowly go in for a one nation, one entrance test system so that the candidates will get one institution or the other, and I think heavens will not fall if they moved from either they take IIT or NIT or IIIT or whatever it is. Therefore, we must make the things liberal to save our students. And it is all giving birth to coaching centers. And coaching centers, the annual turnover is 2 lakh crores, which is more than the budget of central government for education. Okay? And they have a lot of vested interest to perpetuate the existing system. And we should have the boldness to resist that. Okay? Now, next threat to IIT system is funding. Funding to IITs are gradually getting curtailed. It is not sufficient. In fact, it is said we are spending very meager for higher education, only 0.7% of GDP or whatever it is. And then it is continuously squeezed. Therefore, I think there must be quite a liberal increase in funding to IIT system. And even the so-called new National Research Foundation, it's not clear how they will support research, etc. Next, third threat, I say, is a curtailment of autonomy and freedom to IIT system. There is an increased pressure from ministry to IITs, and directors are not able to resist that pressures. Okay? And this is a hard reality. And therefore, even the faculty cannot protest. If some faculty protest, maybe they will be director may be asked to take action on the faculty. Okay? And therefore, I think IITs have only academic freedom and not administrative or financial freedom. I think that has to be restored, you know. Then faculty shortage is a very critical issue. You can say faculty has to do so many things. Now there is a severe faculty shortage in most of the IITs, and not only that, they are not allowed to recruit good faculty because of the reservation problem. And the thing is, unless the reserved category is filled, the general category cannot be recruited. And this is a big dilemma most of the IITs or almost all IITs are facing. And this is another issue which has to be addressed. Okay. Then another, you know, even the faculty, see, MIT has 5:1 student-teacher ratio, and IITs have 10:1. Even that 10:1 is not filled in all places. Okay.
So
then,
yeah, see, many of these are policy related.
yeah?
Policy related. I think if you can give this in a writing,
Yeah.
we will probably discuss it and see how
just
it
one
can be
second.
present.
I thought let us list out just a couple of more. And then there has been a problem with the director selections. A lot of director positions are vacant, they are acting. Therefore, this...
So, I know, if we can list this out,
Yeah.
send it to us. See, one of the roles the ACB should play is in the policy formulation. Wherever we can give inputs, we will.
Yeah, and another thing is about teaching learning process must be world class. It is also getting affected for various reasons. And of course, then the government incidentally has scrapped all type of awards, national awards for all the, including scrapping the funding for INAE, etc. So these are some of the issues which will affect the IIT system. You see, we cannot push it under the carpet. Okay?
No. See,
you see, and therefore we have to, and the, yeah. Now, only thing is, since IIT directors or IIT system cannot tackle this, I think alumni have to take a role in protecting the IIT system.
So,
and I think we need. Yes, this is what I am saying. Since this is a system, yeah.
Questions, and obviously we have asked IITCB should play a role in the policy space.
Yes. No, what I am saying is there must be, we need not be hostile, but I think there must be a way to, policy makers must be told these are the issues.
Sir, we can switch to another question. I think,
Yeah.
I think Bharat, she wants to ask.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, I have listed this because I was concerned.
Thanks for raising this
Just
policy issue is very important.
very important. We will note it down.
Hello, this is Sumana Datta from IIT Guwahati. I come from the sciences. So a lot of these things that was discussed here was very new and very interesting. And it is a learning curve to get to know industry and what they want. But what I have understood is as IITs, so as Mr. Krishna, as you said, that new technologies are not coming up from IITs. So one thing that we have to understand is IIT is, after all, a teaching institution. So one thing that I would think that, which we did not discuss here, is how do we tap our alumni who are still in the Indian system. So we have a lot of startups, we have a lot of people who are contributing to the national sphere. So if that is what IIT, ACB can do, bring the alumni also under the banner. So as their contribution is also the contribution of IIT. So that's something we can do. And also the healthcare sector that you talked about, that's something that...
No.
Yeah.
See, what I meant was, from the research that is happening at IIT, can you create technology products or startups?
No, I understand what you're saying.
So alumni is involved in this and it's included.
No, I understand
But
what you're saying.
unfortunately, most of them are going outside and creating their products,
Yes.
not in India.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. Yes, I understand what
And I
you
think
said.
we have understood that whole issue.
Yeah,
I think,
no-
but IITs are primarily not just teaching and also
Yeah.
research institutions.
Yeah, research
And it's
and-
our responsibility to make sure technology also comes out of IIT.
Another thing that I was thinking is like this PMRA fellowships, or if you have fellowships which are more project based, which are funded
Yeah,
for
yeah.
our students from the industry as well as government, rather than just give fellowships to the top who do well in an interview or have higher marks. If it is based on some project, that would be great. Second thing is that healthcare, as you said, I think that is something India lags behind, healthcare research. But again, Indians are doing best all over the world. So like in IIT and other IITs, we have now
You have made the point.
And,
I think.
yeah, no, that's another thing that I don't know whether IIT ACB is the right thing to bring even doctors together. Because, for example, I work in some understanding cardiac arrest, but I have not been able to get any AIMS doctor to work. So that is
but
something
I
if
think
we
it's
can do.
happening.
That collaboration ACB can make happen.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Will
That's
make
what
that
IIT
collaboration.
ACB should do.
They can
Yes.
make it happen.
So if there are no other, you have a question.
Can you make it very brief? Yeah.
Absolutely. Raja Venkat, IIT Kharagpur, president of the foundation. Actually, I came here without any expectation, found a fantastic thing that has happened. Hats off. Now, we are walking towards the Platinum Jubilee celebration of the IIT system. All these things, what you have talked over there, is very, very, very good. And I think we should summarize the whole thing and take it forward in a broader platform. Thanks a lot. Excellent.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday, as we were going through the launch, I think all of us who've been involved in getting IIT ACB working, it was really very exciting, and it felt like a good step that we were taking. It's the first step, of course. There's much, much, much more that needs to be done. Today's deliberation have given us a lot of food for thought, a lot of direction as well. I think what came out throughout the day was this desire to collaborate, the determination to collaborate, and the fact that through that collaboration, we can take this country way, way, way ahead of where we are. So that's a clear message for us, and we are very, very glad about it. Chris, as usual, even after the industry conclave, IIT industry conclave, you gave us a good action plan. Thank you, because a lot of what you said, actually the entire panel gave us today a lot of action plans. We will put them down in some formal format and share it. But, one of the things you said was many multinationals have set up labs here, and that is being done, the work there is being done by Indian talent. Now that is with the current education system. So with all of the collaborations that we've been talking about, if we can just imagine where we could take this, our country. So it's been very inspiring, and thank you all very much for this. And thanks to all of our audience for staying with us, being here and participating. I'm going to request Anant to give the word of thanks, but before that, Professor Mishra, just a small token of appreciation.
This is a Crystal with IIT Alumni
Center.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored here to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the Managing Committee of the IIT Alumni Center. First of all, thanks to all the IIT directors and the deans for gracing this occasion and for having taken charge of their offices in the center. Secondly, to the three distinguished co-founders of Infosys, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Nandan, and Mr. Gopalakrishnan, for having given their inspiring and clear wisdom to all of us here, and also for having contributed very generously for the construction of this particular center. Secondly, to all the IITs and to the donors for their generous contribution again towards the building of this particular center. And thirdly, I would like to thank all the members of the various various committees of the Alumni Center, and also the staff for their, I would say, tireless contribution in making this launch happen. Lastly, what I would like to say is that I would like to thank the DSP of this particular location, Mr. Sunil Nayak, the print media, the digital media, and all others whom I might have missed, for their coming and gracing this occasion. One last thing which I would like to make a mention is that this center has come up with the very strong, initiatives taken up by Professor Mishra, Ashok Kamath, then Dhananjay, and various other members, without whom this particular center wouldn't have happened. And I think we are all very proud of you for having made this launch event at least very successful. And I'm sure we'll be able to actually, or rather, take it through, to the next level, whatever has come out through the deliberations of these two-day event. Thank you once again for everyone who have come to this event, and I think we would like you all to join us for tea on the, I think it's in the ground floor. Right. Thank you. Oh, it's here? Oh, sorry, it's here. So thank you very much for having come and participated in this launch event. Thank you.